Hey guys, welcome to this video. I'm back with another project. I built this video summarizer. You will have to just choose a file and it will give you a summary. It works with AI. It is using OpenAI's API in the background. And first, I want to give you a quick demo. So I've downloaded 2 videos from YouTube to test out this tool. And then I will talk a little bit about how this tool is working. I don't want to keep it too technical. So first of all, I will give you the source code. I will upload everything to GitHub and I will put the link in the description. So if you're a technical person, then you will be able to look at the source code and see how it is working. And if you are someone that just want to get an intuitive feel for how it is possible to do something like this, then you will get that intuitive feel. I will show you how it is possible. So in summary, no pun intended, I want to keep it accessible to the general audience. Okay, so first, let me just show what this tool is doing. Let's choose our first file. I'll just put a link in the description and you can watch these videos if you are interested. So let me click upload. Okay, so I will click generate summary and let's see what happens. I stopped the server from running, so let me fix that. So now the moment of truth, this should run the server. Let's come back here. Okay, so now it is running. We can try to upload our video. There you go. And click generate summary. And by the way, this should kick off a couple of things here. So you see that when I refresh the page, there is a request to the server, which is just my computer, but I will get to some tiny technical details in a moment. Let's click generate summary. This is the summary of the video. There's not much happening in that video. So this is actually a good summary of what was discussed in that 20 seconds. And now let's take a look at the other video. This is a clip from BBC Earth about this cute animal stealing food from its neighbor. Very cute video. If you have 3 minutes, then you can watch it. So let's go back and let's just pick this other file. And I will upload it to the tool and click generate summary. It will be a bit longer because this is a longer video. I didn't build out any, what it is called, like a progress bar or something like that. Okay, well, it was pretty fast. So this is the summary. I'm not going to read it out, but you can pause the video and read it if you're interested. So now comes the interesting part. I will break it down for you. You will be able to understand how a tool like this works, even if you've never seen a line of code. First of all, these 2 files actually were never uploaded to anywhere. I mentioned that this is a local project, so they were just added to my project basically. And this is the structure of the project. We're not going to break down everything here, but just the key parts. And one of the key parts is this one, because this is where the videos were placed. I selected the file, it grabbed it from my desktop and copied it over to this video summarizer project. So now I have them under the media section here. So this is one thing to understand. I will just delete them from here now, and then I will walk you through what is happening in the background. So what happens here? Basically, this entire project consists of one page. If you look at the URL, there's only one URL that this project can take, and this is this one. If you come to YouTube, for example, it says youtube.com, so it's easy to understand for us people. But in the background, this is actually mapped to a number. So the computer is not seeing youtube.com, but it is seeing a number similar to this number. So if I put this project online, then I could make it happen so that it would be mapped to a name. So I could purchase a domain name. So I would have like, I don't know, marcelstool.com or marcelstool.net. And this would be the home page. So it would be marcelstool.com would redirect to this page. This would be like the very root of the URL. And if I wanted to add more pages, then I might have something like this slash blog or slash, I don't know, article 1, you know, something like that. And that would redirect to that particular page. This URL configuration is an important part of each of these projects. You, as the developer of the project, is specifying like what addresses within your app or website you want to have. And for that, we have a URLs configuration file here. Under this project, I have this urls.py. And this urls.py, this is a Python file, is specifying the paths that this app can take. And as you can see, it doesn't really have any paths specified only this main one and one which says /admin. I think this comes by default. If we type in /admin, then theoretically this should route us to a site administration page, right? So this is routing us to the Django's site administration. Django is the tool that I use to build this thing. And there's a framework for creating websites. It has lots of cool features, but I will not get into that in this video. So let's come back. And whenever we come back, basically this path is executed because we are on this URL. There's nothing added to this path. So it will map to this homepage, basically. As you can see, the name of this is homepage, but this is something that I specified and you can call it anyhow you want. What's important from this is this one, right? So this one, because this tells the program, whenever someone visits this homepage, so this path, which ends with nothing, whenever someone visits this, I want you to serve this view, views.home. And views is another configuration file, which has different functions, basically, right? So the function is something similar to math. You give an input to the function, and the function will return an output. We have this views.py configuration file, and this is this view behind the home screen, this view. And there's a couple of things here which might not make sense to you first. And that's fine. These things are not intuitive. Let me get rid of this because this is important, but this is not required for the page to load because I just want you to first understand how this page is loading. So if I get rid of this, then it will be more clear for you to see what is happening in this view. Okay, so just focus on this view here. So basically, when someone visits this URL, they will be routed to this view. And then what this view is doing, it will render this web page on the screen. And this web page is defined here, summarizer /home.html. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. It is a language that is used to create the individual pages on the site. So if I come to this templates section, then I have this home.html, which looks like this. And you see, it is marked as title. So this will appear larger. And then this says it is centered. So it will appear on the center. And then you have a generate summary. And this is being marked as a button, right? So this is basically how it is being built up. And if I come back to this view, I can click save and it will still work. I saved it and I will refresh this page and it will still work. Even though I do think like almost all the code here, nothing is breaking because this function is still returning this HTML page. This will no longer be functional because the functionality behind these things, so when I click the button, for example, is defined in other functions, which are called from this function, and I removed that part. So that wouldn't work, but this is being served up. And remember, I said that functions have parameters. This function has a parameter called a request. Think about it like this. So basically, you have this homepage with a request parameter, and what the request parameter is, it is an object containing all the information that the browser sent to the server when the user did something on the site. So if you refresh the page, if you submitted a form, if you did anything on the site, that information will be contained in this request object, right? So this object is like a box which has a bunch of things that you can call by calling the appropriate, what's called attribute, this object in your programming logic. And in our case, we are using request.method and request.files to be able to identify if the user has posted something to our form, and then to be able to work with the file which they posted to our form. So these are the two attributes of the object that we're going to work with. So going back here, you see that this request is here, and this is our input to the function. Like we just give it to the function, like, hey, this is all the information that we have about what happened on the screen, and you can work with this. We had this request.meta attribute, and in fact, I can just print it out for you so that you can see how it is working. I will click save, and whenever I just come here to the website and refresh this screen, then we should be able to see metadata about the session because we are passing in this request object to our function call, and we are accessing the metadata attribute. So let me click refresh, and you will see that there is a bunch of things here, right? So whenever I click refresh, then this is being triggered. This is how it is working, but we're not going to use this one. I will just put back the code that we had. We are using these two attributes. So if the user posted something on the site, and if we can get the file that they posted, this block only executes if these two conditions happen, right? And that's why when I deleted this section like this, the website was still functional because it would still return the HTML page. So if this is executing, that means that they posted a file. So what we'll do, we'll save the file, because you upload a file doesn't mean it is automatically saved. It will be put into temporary storage. So we have to save the file, and then we are extracting the audio from the file. For that, we are using another function, which is called extract audio if needed. And here we are calling this function with a different parameter. We're giving the path to our file. It will extract the audio from the uploaded file, unless it is already an audio. If it is already an audio, then no extraction will happen. It will simply return the file path. And if it is a video file, then it will first separate the audio from the video and return that path. So this is why it's called audio and video summarizer, because it can actually summarize both. And then this is the last section. This is the interesting part. So basically, once we could separate the audio from the video, or could verify that we only have an audio, then basically we will transcribe this audio file, create a summary, and then store the summary in a variable which we call summary. We created this variable at the top of this code. We created and assigned a value of none. So it was empty. And the reason we had to create this here, because we want to pass it to our template. So even if the user is not doing anything, we still pass this variable to our template, and therefore we had to define it here. Okay, so how does this part work? This is very simple. It is initiating a connection to OpenAI. So just like as you can go to chatgpt.com and log in with Google or your ChatGPT account and then type in something to the box and then get a response, you can do this programmatically. And the way you can do this programmatically is if you have a developer account with OpenAI, and in that developer account, you will be able to create projects, generate API keys, and you can associate those keys with certain projects. This is the OpenAI developer platform. I have this dashboard, and here I can see, go to this API keys section, and then I see that I have this API key for this project. This is the name of this API key. And basically, it's a way for me to connect to the language model, which OpenAI created, to this AI that they created. And I can use this key. That will be my way of authenticating myself. And then I will be able to send queries programmatically. Guys, application programming interface, think about it as a bridge between one app and the other app. I can send data through the API, and I will receive back data through the API. So I will send an input, I'll get back an output. I will send a query, I'll get back an output that I can use in my program. So basically, I transcribe the file, I will send the transcribed text, the raw text, and I will ask the AI to summarize. I will ask the language model to summarize it, and then I will get back an output. And then the output is being shown to the user on my end, so here on the app. So this is what happens here step by step. We initiate a connection to OpenAI. We supplied the API key associated with this project. This refers to an API key, which is embedded into the project settings. And then once we connected to OpenAI through the API, we will transcribe the file. This is also happening through their tool. They have a language model called Whisper-1, and this can transcribe audio to text. So basically through this API, we are sending this message, hey, we want to access Whisper-1. This is our audio file. Please transcribe it. And this is what it is doing. And you can see that this is being assigned to a variable called transcript. So transcript will hold all the spoken text as a string. And then what we do, we will create another message through this API connection. We'll say, hey, we want to use GPT-4, which is a different language model. This is the same model that is being used by the ChatGPT interface. And then we will initialize this session like this. Basically, we'll say, you are a meeting assistant, summarize key points in 3 bullet points. And this is the text that you have to summarize. Let's say, summarize the key points in only one sentence. And let's see what would change. So I can go back my tool here. We can select the file, can select this. Let's just do the shorter video, and I can generate summary. And now it should be able to give me just one sentence as an output. Right? So there you go. So you can see that the bullet point things are disappeared, and now I'm only getting one sentence. If I want to get more sentences, or if I want to tweak how this tool is responding, then I can tweak this message that I sent through the API to OpenAI, and we find what type of output or what style of output I want to get. I could have said that please return a list of bullet points in HTML format, for example, and then I will get an HTML that I could work with. So instead of just getting raw text, I will get like a piece of code, and then I can embed that piece of code into my logic so that I can better format it. So let's actually try if that would work. So I can say summarize key points in bullet points, provide the HTML code only. Okay, so I can save this, and let's see if we can resend this file and see if it would give us the HTML code that we asked for. Okay, there you go. This is giving a different output. It has these markups added to it. So one last thing, and I will wrap it up. But one last thing I wanted to explain is just how it is being shown to the user. So remember that we're calling this HTML file, this file, the home.html, to render. So this is one of the key things this function is doing. But also see that passing in this summary. So this is one functionality of the Django, that we can pass in files to the templates, similar to how we gave an input to the function itself. So it's either none, meaning it's empty, and we are giving an empty summary to the template, and then nothing will show here. Or if we could run this logic, then we are passing this text to the template. So when the template is running, it will use these summaries. This is what this means in these brackets here, right? So these double brackets mean that it is a variable. So it will be passed into here, and it will be only passed if summary is not null. So if there's no summary, then nothing will show here. This piece of code is basically only runs if the summary is not empty. Okay, so let's wrap it up. This is a project that only has one page. In the URL config of this project, the home page is being routed to this views.home. This function will run each time someone triggers this home screen, and this view will always render this HTML file. So this HTML file will be always shown. Then if they posted something to this template, then this will evaluate to true. It will separate the audio from the video. Then it will transcribe the audio, and then take the transcription, send it through OpenAI, through this API connection, ask for a summarization, and then we'll receive the summary as an output, which is being returned by this function. So this returns the summary, which is then assigned to this summary variable, which we pass to the template here, and then show it to the user. So guys, this is how this tool is working. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer if I can. If you want to see more videos like this, then also subscribe, because I will be creating more. I have a couple of ideas that I want to explore, and I will create videos about these.